Flat Earth, round Earth. Is there a bigger question that is equally important to both? I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, your friendly neighborhood Christian whistleblower, and this is our regular 5 p.m. live show. Someone asks, is this live? Well, here we are. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower. This is the Gospel Truth broadcast, and we're talking today about flat Earth, round Earth. Is there a bigger question? And I was ready to launch into my talk and my dissertation and my thoughts about flat Earth. And as I started going into it, I realized that there's a bigger question. There's a stronger question. There's a more powerful question. And there's a question that really is much more important than the fact of, is the Earth round or is it flat? Because it's something that affects both equally and is, in my mind at least, a much bigger, a much more important question. And that question came up when I was studying this and I was looking into the whole idea, and I came up with this, and I started seeing these pictures, and it put me into this thought, and we need to talk about this before we even get to flat Earth. Look at these pictures. And these pictures show that Polaris, or the North Star, look at that. Polaris, the North Star, everything revolves around the North Star. Everything revolves around Polaris. Everything revolves around Polaris. And I believe that answering the question of why is Polaris the pivot point of the universe is much more important than asking, is the Earth flat or is the Earth round? Why is Polaris, that's not an actual picture, why is Polaris the pivot point of the universe? Now, I don't know how many of you realize this or know this, but whether you're talking about a flat Earth or a round Earth model, Polaris is still the pivot point of the universe. Because when you look at these type of pictures that I just showed you, if you're talking from a flat Earth perspective, many people will say, oh, this is proof of the flat Earth right here. This is proof of the flat Earth because all of the stars revolve around, I didn't mean to do that. All of the stars revolve around us. So that shows that Earth is the center of the universe. Earth is the center of the universe. So it's got to be because that proves that there's a flat Earth. Because all the stars are going around a stationary Earth. Well, yeah, that would fit your cosmology. All the stars are going around a stationary Earth. And Polaris isn't actually stationary. It goes in a little bitty arc itself. But I hate to disappoint you, but in the geocentric Earth model, when the Earth is traveling around the sun, and the sun is traveling around the galaxy, guess what? Polaris is still the pivot point. Because there's something about Polaris, no matter if you look at it from a flat Earth perspective or from a round Earth perspective, Polaris is still the pivot point of the universe because Polaris is far enough away and Polaris is in the exact position that even if you believe we're orbiting the Earth or orbiting the sun, which is orbiting in the galaxy, which I guess is orbiting in the universe, Polaris is still the pivot point of the universe. It's still the pivot point of our universe. And that makes me wonder why. Why is Polaris the pivot point of our universe? Lee Veltman makes the scientific point that Polaris lines up almost perfectly with the axis of the planet. And then he adds some other facts that Galileo and Copernicus were excommunicated for a heliocentric universe, but we're not there yet. And I mean, if you can spare me all the stereotypical quaint jabs back and forth to each other, that would be nice, because I mean, stating we're under a dome firmament doesn't really address what we're talking about tonight. But at any rate, why is Polaris the center of the universe? Whether you believe it's a flat Earth, whether you believe it's a round Earth, why is Polaris the pivot point of the universe? Or the pivot point of our galaxy? Why? That caused me to look at Polaris itself. And I found some very, very interesting things about Polaris itself. So let's talk about Polaris. Let's talk about this thing that is the pivot point of our galaxy. Well, Mr. Veltman, if we're revolving around the sun, and the sun's revolving around the universe, and the universe, or the sun's revolving around the galaxy, and the galaxy's revolving around the universe, then still it would be the pivot point of the universe, because no matter where we're revolving around the universe, no matter where our galaxy is revolving around the universe, it's still the pivot point. It's the pivot point of our Earth around the sun, sun around the galaxy, galaxy around the universe. So Polaris, the northern star, designated Alpha Ursae Minoris, or AUMI. That's the name. That's the designation of the star, the North Pole, or the Pole Star. And there we go again, blurting out Northern Lights. That's okay. I was expecting it. It's very close to the North Celestial Pole. What does that mean? The North and South Celestial Poles are two imaginary points in the sky where the Earth's axis of rotation, indefinitely extended, intersects the celestial sphere. So that just means, you know, the northern part here, the Polaris is lined up, not exactly, but pretty doggone close with that northern pole of our planet. So making it the current North Star. So if Nibiru comes and shifts our poles, then it won't be the North Star anymore. But boy, I didn't want to go ahead and get into that either. And of course, I know that we are going to be worried about this, but it's said that the Polaris is 433 light years away, or 133 parsecs. Until I read this, I thought parsecs was just a Star Trek word. I didn't realize it was actually a real word. So it is a real word. Now, the interesting things about Polaris, number one, not only is it in direct alignment with our northern pole, not only does everything seem to revolve around it planetarily, galaxy-wise, and even, I would contend, universe-wise, but I'm not a scientist. I'm a Bible college graduate, not a math major. But look at this. Polaris is a multiple star. A multiple star. Here we go again. People just can't play nice. That's okay. You can state your opinions, but you can't be rude. And I get to decide who's rude or who's not rude. So, Polaris is a multiple star. Listen to this. Think about this. This is amazing. It consists of the main star, and it consists, and there's a pair in orbit, Polaris B, C, and D. So you got Polaris A and B, which are kind of one. Then you got Polaris C and D. So you have essentially a trinity of stars, which I think is interesting. You have a trinity of stars. And if people are detracting away from what we're talking about, I'll put you in timeout for a while so you can not try to get us onto other subjects. So you could roughly say that the Polaris star, the North Star, which all our universe, our galaxy revolves around, is a trinity star. Hey, Jen, nice to see you. It's a trinity star, which opens up a whole bunch of new interesting stuff. And let me stop sharing for a minute so I can take a look at something on the sides of the north. And look at this. I want to suggest to you as well. This is really interesting. And this just popped up into my mind to bring this on. Come on, BibleHub.com. Don't fail me now. Come on now. Cue the Jeopardy music anytime. Anyway, it's not going to come up, so you're just going to have to take my you're going to have to take my word for it. The scripture in Psalm 48:2 says, "Beautiful in elevation." I like the King James. "Beautiful in situation, the joy of the whole earth. Mount Zion on the sides of the north, the city of the great King." Mount Zion on the sides of the north, the city of the great King. The pole star is in the north. It revolves, everything revolves around it. It's a Trinity star. And the Bible seems to state that the abode of the Almighty, according to the Bible, is in the north. So that is kind of interesting as well. That is actually interesting as well. But let's go ahead and think more about this. Polaris. Something else caught my attention. I'm missing out because I'm getting distracted over here, but that's okay. So Polaris, oh yeah, Polaris. It's a constellation. Polaris is a multiple star. It's a yellow supergiant. And we were talking about all the names of it. That's what I wanted to get to. Okay, it's a Trinity star. All right. As we continue to study about it, it's a yellow supergiant. You think about gold being associated with divinity. Uranus there made me think of swamp gas. I don't know if there's any swamp gas involved with it. But let's get down to this part I want to look at right now. The names. The name of Polaris. What is the name of Polaris? Polar star. And I want to look at the actual names of Polaris because it unearths a bunch of interesting stuff like this. In the Hindu, it's named Puranas, which means ancient and old. And there's a lot of Indian literature about it. It's also associated with Vishnu, Shiva, and Devi. But that's kind of out of our league right now. Let's talk about what it means by within English or within the Western world. And I can't believe that I have missed this. I'll find it. Where did this go? Because it gets back into the, I wanted this to be an organic study and to talk about it with you, but I should have been more just so, because now I'm lost. And there's something I really wanted to see about it. Polaris, Wikipedia. North Star, let's see. No, that's not it. And of course, the greatest logo in all of sports history was the Minnesota North Stars. So it's very close to the celestial pole, Hipparchus parallax. It's named after a particular god, and that gets all the way back into the deep, deep Babylonian imagery and Babylonian mythology. And I want to get into that. And I'm trying, Ursa Minor. That's what we're talking about. Okay, Ursa Minor. This is where I wanted to go. And let's take just a little break and look into the chat room and see what we got going on there. See if we have any mutinies yet. A plane, I can't complain. I'm alive. I feel great. Northern Star lines up with our axis. Yep, we went through all that. A couple people got timed out. The Earth is sky-centric. We're inside, and the stars are solo. Yeah, okay. Thunderbolt Project, very interesting. Trinity, yes. We are flat Earth. Why are flat Earthers so angry that, oh, Lee takes a shot? That's okay. Same as Santa Claus. Okay. Isn't it also called the Dog Star? Breathe, Jeff. Ask higher self to engage. It did. How about that? Do we still use Polaris missiles? That's interesting. Polaris Sea-Doos are common. And it is called the Bear. So that's where we're getting into now. So it's called the Lesser Bear or the Little Bear. Okay. And it also has the Big Dipper, right? It's a constellation. Here we go. Here we go. The origins of the zodiac date back to Babylonian and Chaldean. Doggone it. I'm trying to find where I was with this other stuff. It's a yellow-white supergiant. Ptolemy discovered it. I might have to punt on this. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. In the Babylonian star catalogs, Ursa Minor, which is the home of Polaris, the pole star, was called the Wagon of Heaven. Okay? It was called the Wagon of Heaven. And it's associated with Anu, the supreme ruler. And it's the Wagon of Heaven. It's associated with the goddess Damkina. Now I'm back on my roll. Thank you for bailing me out, the higher self. And Damkina is a name for Ninhursag. Ninhursag is a mother goddess. Ninhursag was one of the 7 great deities of Sumer, and she's a fertility goddess. So Polaris is associated with the mother goddess. So Polaris is associated with the 7 great deities, and we know how large 7 figures in our divine mindset. And it's a fertility goddess. It's associated with where we all sprung from. Her hair is designed in an omega shape, alpha and omega. She's the tutelary deity to several Sumerian leaders. What's that mean? She's the deity or spirit who's the guardian, patron, protector of several other deities. She means Lady of the Sacred Mountain, or Nin, which means lady, or Nintu, Lady of Birth, Mammy, Mother, Aruru, Belet Eli, Lady of the Gods. Do you see what I'm getting at? The very pivot point of our planet, our galaxy, our universe is aligned with a constellation that is at our true north. The biblical texts say that the city of the great kings is in the north. The Babylonian mythology shows it being the Lady of the Sacred Mountain. It shows it being the abode of the gods. It shows it being the abode of our creator, our mommy, the very creator. It shows it being the home of the great gods. And her name was changed from Ninmah to Ninhursag. And then as Ninmina, according to a Babylonian investment ritual, she placed the golden crown on the king. So you've got the whole male-female divinity thing coming together. And you've got the whole God thing coming together. And watch out, here comes Enki. The mother goddess had many epithets, including these things that I can't pronounce. Womb goddess. Did we come from her womb? Midwife of the gods. It's like she births gods. Are we gods? The mother of all children, the mother of all gods. In this role, she's identified with Ki in the Enuma Elish. Who's Ki? Ki was the, the earth goddess. Ki was the earth goddess. And do you believe this, ladies and gentlemen? Every now and then I'm good. Look at this. Ki was the earth goddess, the chief consort of the sky god. In some legends, they were the offspring of Anshar, which means what? Sky pivot and earth pivot. You can't make this up. We are offspring of the sky pivot and the earth pivot. Personifications of heaven and earth. She gave birth to Enlil, who is probably Yahweh. So that would make her Sophia. Wow. 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 So whether or not you think it's round or you think it's flat really starts to fade away when you start looking at the huge implications of what we're looking at here in this information. Let's go back to the chat room and see what we got going on. We got Little Bear. Yep. You know where Polaris isn't common? Whatever. It's pointed to for safety back in the southern hemisphere is where the ice giants live. On the other side of those ice walls, Thor rules. Veltman, you're bad, but you're not rude. So I like that. It works in my Gnostic deist world. I thought she was Inky's sister. Megatron's frozen. Never in the Bible does it mention the world being flat. It says the corners of the earth and that there's a firmament and mint round, never mentions round. Square with a circle, my bad. What are the names of the four angles resting on those corners? I tell you guys, this to me is amazing stuff. When we start thinking about what this is talking about, it's enough to really blow your mind. It's enough to really blow your mind. Let's just review this a little bit. See if I can actually get back to where I was. We're talking about Polaris. Polaris being the pivot point of our planet, our galaxy, our universe. Everything revolves around it. I find that amazing. Everything revolves around it. Everything revolves around it. Whether you're on a flat, plain Earth, where the horizon always reaches eye level and water finds its level and all of that stuff, or you're soaring through space on a ball that's going around the sun, that's going around the galaxy, this is still what it looks like. How amazing is that? Which either one that you believe, it still looks this way. Doesn't that make you wonder? And doesn't that show you that there just might be, I know this is blasphemy to some of you, but there just might be some things more important than what the shape of the thing you're living on is. Because who cares what it looks like if it's round, square, yellow, brown, upside down? Why is it circling around this no matter what you think? Why? 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 It's amazing. Polaris is the pivot point. It's demonstrably the pivot point. Look at the picture. It is the pivot point. Time out. It is the pivot point. I'm looking at it. No one sees Polaris move. It moves in a little bit of arc, but no one sees it. Yeah, Davey's asking the right question. So would the mother of the gods be the starting point for history? Everything centers on polarity. I've sailed around the earth. It's roundish. Oh, my. So we got the North Star. The Bible saying the gods live in the sides of the north. I don't know if I'll ever get down to where I was before. But we're talking about the constellation that it's in. I should have the names of it. Polar star, roll as pole star, distance. I should have kept my tracks better, but we can just summarize. It's the little bear. It's the mother. It's the home of the mother. It's the home of the mother gods. It's the home of the person of fertility. It's the birthplace of humanity. This is some crazy stuff. This is a whole lot of information that makes us really, it should really make us think. It should really make us wonder. And it should really make us, oh, Ursa Minor is where I got my way into that other part. It makes us wonder. It should make us wonder, what the heck's going on? Do we come from that constellation? Is that constellation where the illimitable ones live? Is that constellation where they came through to come here? I don't know. Is that constellation the opening to the abode of the gods? Why is all of our beginnings pointed there? Why are all of our origins pointed there? Why is it called our mother? Why is it called where we come from? And then it's associated with Enki and the wife of Enki. It's even called the heaven pivot and the earth pivot. This is pretty amazing stuff. And it certainly gives us a lot to think about. And I would suggest that it certainly is a lot more. Oh, and it comes with the high rising. Boy, there's another one. It comes from the high rising. Wow. Just amazing stuff. Enough to make us wonder. Here's Damkina. Mommy, mother. Amazing stuff. Ninhursag. She's like the Omega, Alpha and Omega. Here's even a family tree. Is this a family tree of the gods? Identified with Ki. See, I know I'd find my way back. The Earth Goddess. The Earth Goddess is in the center and the north. It's just amazing. The sky pivot, the Earth pivot. She gave birth to the Anunnaki. Uh-oh. Are we part of the Anunnaki? Wow. And Enki and her, looks like they gave birth to Enlil. That's the way I read it. I don't know, but man, this really brings up a lot of interesting stuff. And to me, far more interesting than what shape the place that we're living on is. So there's a lot more to this than what we thought was to this. So let's go ahead and dive into the silliness. Okay. The eye in the sky, it's amazing. Then why can you see it from everywhere? Good question, Nicholas Tracy. 5 stars aren't like the rest. That's because they're planets. It's round. 24 hours prove rotation. Okay. The Earth might be an eyeball. Oh, little fun here. Look up Vulcan. I was young and didn't pay enough attention. Subversion, we understand. It seems to be a good starting point. It is a good starting point for theory and discussion. Are we made from stars? Does life flow from Polaris out into the universe? Great, great questions. Lee Veltman says he's an indigo child. Okay, awesome. The pyramids point to Andromeda. Okay, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure what that serpent dragon pick was. I don't want to try to get back to it right now. I saw Polaris. That's the direction of source according to the Tao. Now, that's interesting. Even the Tao says Polaris is a direction of source. See, that's interesting stuff right there. Now we got Nibiru, Planet X, probably. Ha ha ha, there's a second point of rotation in the south. Guess what? Be a jerk. Bye-bye, time out. Hope you enjoy it. Why didn't it take? There you go. Don't be a jerk. He continues to stare at the stars nightly. Continue research. Inley and Inkle are the Sky Brothers. The shafts of the pyramids are built to align with the pole stars. Interesting. Santos Bonacci loves 24 zodiac signs, but he lives on a flat plane. See, if you learn to do it like Beltman, with a little style and without being rude, you don't get put in timeout, even though you're probably pushing the boundaries of the discussion. You just got to live and learn, guys. That's some interesting stuff. That's some interesting stuff. So we will continue to dive into some of these amazing mysteries. Thank you. I like the new background too. Somebody's trying to get timed out again. Some people just don't learn, but that's okay. Okay, guess what? Now you get completely banned, blocked. Bye-bye. Come into my chat room and call me a jerk? There you go. Interesting stuff, folks. Interesting stuff. Now let's get some real questions, some honest questions, and some not rude questions. I'm all ears. Let's ask some questions. Let's have some healthy, honest, honorable debate. What did the old background make you think of, Kenny Horse? It was I thought it was too distracting. I'm wondering what instills us to have temptations in life. Us? That would be my thought. We don't need anybody to make us have temptations. We do it ourselves. Frosted Flake. Yeah, it did kind of look like Tony the Tiger, didn't it? I offer services as a Scottish mod. Accepted. Any other questions? Very deep. I like Eyeball Earth. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yalda Bayot's head. It did look like Yalda Bayot's head, Kenny Horse. It did look like Yalda Bayot's head. That was good. It did look like Yalda Bayot's head. I like the whole aggressive lion thing, but it was a little bit distracting. So when you put water in a bicycle tire and spin it, the water flies off. Yeah, it does. Do I believe in a creator? Absolutely, I believe in a creator. I absolutely believe in a creator, yes. The background gives you a disc behind your head. Oh, oh. Can we do a study on the Anunnaki? Sure. Oh. That's awesome. I didn't even think about that. That's funny. I like that. I like that. All right, folks. Does anybody else have any good questions? What's the difference in gravity and density? I don't know. I really don't. But I think that's amazing stuff. I think that's interesting stuff. And I think it's probably got some stuff to do with what we're talking about. And we're going to get to flat arc. Yes, we are. Flat arc. There's a new one. We're going to get to flat earth and the implications of it. But there's a lot more stuff that, and this stopped me. I started my study and this stopped me. So you can see what kind of a study we're talking about. We're not talking about your normal little, everybody have a hissy fit flat earth talk. We're talking about the deep stuff, the important stuff, the mind and thought provoking stuff. And actually, this was pretty much a success. We got through this with only having to, there went those batteries, they were dead, without having to, only had to ban one person. So while we're here, let's do the GTA card of the day. Let's do that. And of course, it's a conspiracy because the GTA cards are round. Oh my, and now I'm provoking people. I'm as bad as Veltman. So everybody put your intention on the cards. Bloop, bloop, bloop. And I'm going to shuffle them 3 times. And I'm going to shuffle them 3 times. And then I'm going to do them as long as it takes to say leave Veltman. Then I'm going to stop. And I'm going to pull that card off the top. Virgo. Virgo is our card for the day, for the GTA. It's Virgo. And I think I know what this one is, but I'll read it anyway. This is interesting. Virgo. We were just talking about creator, virgin, creation, star. And now we're talking about Virgo with our card. I'm telling you, these cards are pretty doggone spiffy. These cards are they're good stuff. So let's let the old man put on his glasses. And let's say see what Virgo means. Virgo. Virgo. Aspects within are ordered and balanced. Order and structure provide channels for future work. Balance between spirit and intellect. Perfection has been found within. Now it manifests. We've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks. Focus on details is important. Keep in thought the big picture. What are we talking about today? We just talked about who cares if it's round or flat. We're talking about the big picture. A connection with someone can have, oh, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Keep thought in the overall picture. Service is called forth and ask for concentrated effort. I felt that. I felt like I needed to start giving more effort, and I've tried to redouble myself towards it. So that was very good for me. I don't know if it was good for you or not. Uh-oh, Veltman's a Virgo. We're all in trouble. Wow, can you believe that? That is funny. That is funny. Very interesting. Ask the rods if the earth is a big ball. Virgos are neat freaks. I never believed the earth was flat, regardless of the argument. It's knobberly and stuff. Can be round, but it's not flat either. I tend to go with Davy, but I don't know. We'll see. We got it. I'm trying to keep an open mind as we study. What's the question? Is the earth a big ball? I like this background. I think it's less distracting than the lion. I think it looks kind of cool, kind of regal. And it does give me that whole Jesus thing going behind me, which is kind of cool. That whole divinity thing. I like it. I like it. I like it. So is the earth a big round ball? That's the question. Is the earth a big round ball? No. Is the earth a big round ball? No. Taurus here, and that's some trouble. Understand it's not a square flat. It's a snow globe. Is the earth shaped like a snow globe? No. I'm a slob. Big white halo's good. Is the earth oblate? Yeah, but not exactly what we think about oblate. Is the earth oblate? Yeah, the earth is pretty much oblate. Is the earth flat? No. Is the earth flat? No. Oh, that's a good one. Is the earth a hologram? No. Lee Veltman. Are we riding a turtle? No, we're not riding a turtle. Is there a firmament? Is there a firmament? Well, yeah, there's a firmament. The question really is, what is a firmament? I'd like to ask a simple question after my first experience with the rods. So my control question is tomorrow Friday. Okay. Is tomorrow Friday? Yes, absolutely. Are we descended from the Anunnaki? No. Are we in a spaceship? No. Are the sun and moon holograms? No, but there's more to it than we know. Is the earth an infinite plane? Not even close. Remember, it's just a couple of copper rods, guys. I don't know if you're ballers or not. Are we products of Anunnaki technology? No. Is the earth an eyeball? No. Has life ever existed off of Earth? That was a hard yes. See, it was turning before I even asked it. Which makes me wonder, can these things read? Has life ever existed off of Earth? Yes. Interesting stuff. Are we hybrids of Anunnaki? No. Are we versions of stardust? No. Does it really matter what shape the earth is? No, according to the rods. Is earth a realm? Never saw that before. Is earth a realm? Huh. Was the question, oh, is God en route? No, I say God's already here. Is God en route? No. Do the rods sense oncoming questions? Yes. Like Sarah said, I think the gods are already here. Oh, how about this one? Veltman asked the big question. I don't even want to ask this because I have a dog in this fight. Is the earth hollow with multiverse portals at the poles? Oh, it says yes. Is the earth hollow with multiverse portals at the poles? Yes. Was there ever life on the moon? Don't know. Vera, I don't want to ask that. That's just too hard to, that's too much to put on rods. That's too important. Okay, what the hell? Will Vera Denise have a baby? I hope you wanted one, because you're going to have one according to the rods. Love the rods. They're awesome. All righty, guys. Maybe there's answers the rods can't give. I would say there are. I would say that there are answers that the rods can't give. I hate to mention it, but Enoch mentioned portals. Okay. Nikola Tesla was right. We're in an electric vibrational frequency. Yeah, I can believe that. I can believe that. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we only had to ban one person. A couple people got put on timeout. That's okay. I figured it would be at least that. But I mean, just remember, we're not trying to make it. We're not trying to ban anyone. We're not trying to chastise anyone. We're just asking for common courtesy. That's all. So be courteous, and you won't be banned. I mean, Veltman's a perfect example. He's trying to stir stuff up, but he's courteous about it. Wooden rods work for water for sure. I've never seen wooden rods. I don't know if they would work. I use copper because copper's the best conductor I could think of. So I don't know. I don't know. But, you know, the original divining, you know, the two things with a stick, you know, for water, those are all wood, obviously, because they're sticks. So anyway, there you go. 9 o'clock tonight, Tamu and Gina, tarot show. Yeah, people make them from apple trees. You're right. Wood rods for water. Hickory wood is great. Interesting. Interesting. I thought gold and silver are the best conductors. Well, I'm not making them out of gold and silver, Philip. Sorry. I am not making them out of gold and silver. Oh, that was awesome. So interesting. I mean, I'm willing to, let me know what you think about that whole thing with Polaris. To me, that's fascinating. Anytime we start getting back to origins and how it morphs with so many different theologies and myths, it's just very, very interesting. Very, very, it just makes me think, wow. And it just shows me that we will look at the whole flat earth and round earth. We're going to look at it in detail, but it's such a silly, it's not silly. It's just so, it doesn't matter as much as so many other things. And I know that that's like blasphemy to a lot of people, and that should probably tell us something. I'm just saying. Yes, yes, yes. So we'll be back at 9 o'clock for sure. I got a new show I'm going to roll out, which is a risk, and I probably shouldn't do it, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's one of the things I like to talk about, and I'm going to do it. Flat Earth is talked about in a lot of ancient stuff. No doubt about that. Yeah, the International Space Station exists. We got pictures of it. Wayne has taken pictures of it, and the rods have said the International Space Station exists too. So yeah, it's up there. It is up there. That would be a great idea for a reality show. Flat Earthers trying to find the edge of the earth. And you see that thing around my wrist, TRX? I just started working out again today. Man, it feels great to have a pump again. It feels great to feel like an athlete again. I don't know why I waited so long, but I'm back, baby. Naked and afraid, finding flat earth. Oh, that's awesome. All right, folks, I'll see you back at 9 for the show with Tamu. Maybe even before that. Yeah, Atlantis, Lemuria, Mu. That is good stuff. There we go, folks. I salute you for being here, seeking truth, no original sin, spark of divinity within. Love yourself, love everybody, be excellent to each other. And let's keep making the change we want to see. Keep making the change we want to see. And good night from London. And above all else, folks, stay fearless, my friends.